Welcome everybody to JL's Movie Life episode 18. In this episode, I'll be reviewing Clint Eastwood's new movie, Trouble with the Curve. And as a special guest star of the episode, I've got Clint Eastwood here with me to discuss the movie. So let's have at it, shall we? So Trouble with the Curve, as you might imagine, based on the posters and the title, is a movie about baseball. But it's also, wait for it, a movie about life. That's right, the baseball as metaphor movie hasn't been overdone enough. So in this one, Clint Eastwood plays a crusty old scout named Gus, which is a perfect name. It's sort of the unoriginal kind of crusty, grumpy old man name. And Clint Eastwood is sort of playing a bad version of his characters in Gran Torino and $1 Million Baby. He's a baseball scout. Now what he does is he represents the old school, the gut instinct sort of scout versus the kind of cybermetrics Moneyball type scouts, that were featured in the movie Moneyball, which is a good counter. This is a good counter to Moneyball because unlike Moneyball, this is not a good movie. But a friend of Gus's is concerned about his old friend and decides to enlist Gus's daughter, played by Amy Adams, in a role she probably wishes she hadn't taken, and to track Gus, to follow him and make sure he's okay on his trip to scout this player in North Carolina. She, of course, is a high-powered attorney trying to prove something to her father her whole life, so naturally they do not hammer out those issues at all on the trip. I know what you're thinking. You're probably thinking they were going to really hammer things out and get to the root of their problem as father-daughter. No, none of that. Nothing. No, it's totally an unconventional, original movie. No, it's not. They hammer out their shit. It's terrible. But there's a love interest, and that love interest comes in the form of Justin Timberlake, who plays a failed baseball player who's now a scout himself, but of course has a kinship with the old man, and also fancies the old man's daughter. So naturally, no romance occurs whatsoever between those two. The movie doesn't follow any conventions or any cliches. What you're left with at the end of the movie is weak resolutions of problems, very sharp turns in terms of instead of gradually developing things just mosey along and then boom, they're answered like that. It's a generally weak movie. Justin Timberlake should thank his lucky stars he got to be in a movie with Clint Eastwood and Amy Adams, but Amy Adams and Clint Eastwood, you can do better. We have evidence, we have proof that you can do better. I don't know, I would recommend not seeing this. If you like baseball or movies, this movie may ruin both for you. So I'm going to give it a C-, because it wasn't the worst piece of shit I've ever seen, but it was definitely, I can't think of a worse movie with Amy Adams or, oh wait, never mind. A worse movie that I've seen with Amy Adams or a worse movie that I've seen with Clint Eastwood. It just was, meh. It's really not worth it. It's cheesy, and it's not well done. So, keep sticking to the convention speeches, Clint.
Wanna get the feeling